Hi, welcome to CineMunn Podcast. We are back with a brand new show, joined once again by Time Metropolis. He's lost the golden deliciousness, you bastard.
Yeah.
How could you do that to us? Terrible. That was a running thing for like a good 2 months on this show.
You were running with it. You were the only one running.
You were the one who brought the golden hair. So, really, it's your fault. And now it's faded away.
That's what happened.
I think we should have a drink just for the hair, since it left the show.
Do you have anything?
Of course, I always have liquor. I have rum, whiskey. I don't have any beer, actually. I'm all out of beer.
That's strange. I've never seen that happen.
Shut up. Who asked you? So, yes, we are back once again with a brand new show. Got a few little topics to go over. Some have popped up in the last week. Some have popped up as recently as just a couple hours ago. So, let's jump right into it. Really?
I said let's go right into it.
Is that what she said?
Pop up and go right into it.
Wow. Oh, wow. So, if you have children, I don't recommend listening to this part of the show. I'm sorry.
Wasn't anything vulgar.
Wow. It is very heavy innuendos. Don't
You're
turn that into an innuendo.
Shut up.
Yeah! Who asked you? Okay, so we watched a couple trailers that have been dropped in the last few days. First of which being Ridley Scott's film, The Martian. Martian, based on the popular best-selling novel starring Matt Damon, is about a gentleman who gets stranded on Mars by his team, not on purpose, it was an incident, and he's got to figure out how to live there for 4 years and get back in contact with NASA before he dies. And watching the trailer, initially, the only thing that bothered me was that they're trying to sell it based just on Matt Damon, because he will be the name above the title that you'll see on all the posters, I think. And that bothers me. Selling it also off of Ridley Scott, who hasn't had a good hit film in a while.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard too. But I'm kind of thinking he's going to go back to form. This, honestly, to me, this feels more like Alien than Prometheus did. Like, the way the technology is, it feels real, it feels grounded. The suits are big and bulky, reminding me of Tom Skerritt and John Hurt in Alien. They have this kind of the same kind of big, kind of bulky design with the large helmet and the lights on the sides. That, for me, made me think of Alien, and thus kind of brought me back into, okay, really, Scott's going back into form. And I really hope so, because this movie has a great cast. You have Chiwetel Ejiofor, you got Jeff Daniels, Jessica Chastain, Kristen Wiig again, taking on a dramatic role, I think, which we haven't seen since the Skeleton Twins that she did with Bill Hader. So I'm actually kind of excited to see this film. It's not my number one of these trailers that we reviewed, but it's up there, probably number two. So that was my initial thoughts on it. Golden Delicious, what were your thoughts on the Martian trailer?
It looks... To me, it would be a...
You said, suck at Gravity and Interstellar. That was like the first things out of your mouth after
first
we watched
thing,
it.
Matt Damon was in Interstellar. Gravity...
Spoilers.
How's it a spoiler?
It's a spoiler. What if
you can see him on the freaking cast list?
What? Actually, you couldn't. For a long while, you couldn't.
Shut up.
Wow. That's rude.
Martian. But yeah, it's... I don't know. Interstellar was so far out there as far as exploring space and all that stuff. Interstellar tried to push its story through a theory that you had to look up online, and then you had to try to grasp like all this other crap. Gravity, to me, I mean, I've seen it. Yes, I did rewatch it. The story is pretty bad. Well, even the characterization too. George Clooney was the only good character in that movie, but...
I did not see Gravity.
You did not see Gravity?
I did not see Gravity.
Basically, it was a Sandra Bullock show.
A Sandra Bullock show?
Show.
Okay,
show.
I thought you said.
But anywho, it's like, what I already see with Martian is that it's more in tune with what a human being would do, like, as opposed to Gravity.
What someone...
trained to do.
Who's thinking and training to do, yeah.
If right now, I'll tell you in Gravity, this isn't that big of a spoiler, but Sandra Bullock's character, she never should have gone into space to begin with because she has no survival... Well, her survival instincts are shit.
Well, I think part of that, I mean, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate, is the situation. I mean, he was already for the Martian, he's already on the ground, he's in an established colony type thing. With her, they're out in the middle of fucking, like, on a satellite or something.
I'm talking about survival skills.
I know.
Matt Damon in Martian, you can already portray from the trailer that he is there to survive. Mm-hmm. Sandra Bullock, her character's like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. Yeah. I don't know what to do. I'm in space. for some reason NASA gave me this assignment and sent me into space, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. That's what bothered me about Gravity, and just the fact that it was, it did kind of give that, not claustrophobic, but like kind of alone kind of ambiance, I guess. Yeah, isolation, there you go. But it got annoying really quick for me. I know some people like the film, but
yeah, I've got a lot of good reviews. I just never really had an interest in it.
Martian, it is going to be a bit more, to me, it's going to be a bit more real as far as the whole, space thing, in my opinion. But again, it is a different scenario. And kind of some of the things they talk about in the trailer are, like I was saying earlier, survival instincts. Matt Damon's character does explore that, because as he gets abandoned, he talks about the things that are necessary to live. So, and that was something like in Interstellar, there's the necessities to life. But again, I was saying with Interstellar, it's like it's got such a wild theory that you have to look up and you have to try to even grasp. It was just a little too overwhelming. So anyway, go ahead.
That's fine. The second trailer we watched was Bridge of Spies. It's supposed to be coming out this fall, starring Tom Hanks, directed by Steven Spielberg, and that right there just sells it to me. It's Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg again. I believe this is their third collaboration after Saving Private Ryan and Catch Me If You Can, both of which were critical and audience hits, I believe. I mean, Catch Me If You Can was a fun period film and amazingly a true story. I don't know how much basis Bridge of Spies has in its own truth. It's basically a gentleman. Two spies have been caught by opposite sides. A Russian spy has been caught by the Americans, and an American spy has been caught by the Russians. And they're going to trying to quietly have an exchange of spies without starting a war between two countries. And also during this, you see the construction of the Berlin Wall in East and West Germany. And it just looks really cool. It's Spielberg going back to form of a period piece. Feels like a historical drama with a little bit of that thriller into it of taking the average guy and putting him in an extraordinary situation, which Tom Hanks is always good at playing. He feels like the average man. He is your immediate connection as an audience to the film and whatever's going on, which is, I think, one thing that made Private Ryan so good was that he does not look like a soldier, but here is an ordinary man in an extraordinary situation. And again, I think he's playing that in Bridge of Spies, and I'm really excited to see it. And anything Spielberg does, I will watch. I worship at the altar of Steven Spielberg as a director. The man has done every type of genre in film and has hit and miss in all of them, and that's fine. He's shown he is a true craftsman, a true jack of all trades, so to speak, in genre. And that's why I love his films. That's why I love him and admire him as a director, as a vision. So,
I'll say this is one of Spielberg's films that I'm looking forward to seeing. The story, the premise is great. I definitely have that interest to go see it. Mm-hmm. Will I be able to go see it in theaters? But I mean, it looks like it's going to be a solid piece.
I think so.
As far as performance-wise, as like we were examining some of the cast, it looks like it's going to be put together pretty well. It's not going to be kind of...
I think it kind of feels like a little bit of Oscar bait, because I know they're releasing it later in the year. You have Tom Hanks, who is an Oscar winner. You have Spielberg, who is an Oscar winner. You got a formula, which is a political, historical drama.
Yep.
It feels like Oscar bait, and I think, righteously so, they're going to go for that, and I would too. I mean, if I had material like that I think could work, I'm gonna sneak it into the Academy and go, hey, this movie's awesome, you should make it win.
Yeah.
So, third trailer we watched is one that got me really excited.
Fantastic Four?
Yeah, shut up. I said really excited, not broke my heart over and over into a million little pieces, shattered, like Willy Wonka when they transport that little kid. Is Everest. Everest starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Jason Clarke, Josh Brolin, Keira Knightley. Is a true story of a gentleman who climbed Everest and got caught in a snowstorm up there and had to survive, trying to come back down. It is a book. My mom read the book a few years back. She told me about it, and she said it's very good. And this movie looks awesome. It is being pitched, I believe, as like an IMAX or a 3D type film as well. So it is one I will actually take into consideration of watching in IMAX 3D format. It's got a solid cast. And if you do keep up with current events, which I hope you do, with the recent earthquake in Nepal a couple weeks ago, this film feels very relevant to that. I know once they had that earthquake over there, they shut down hiking season all over the mountains over there. K2, Everest, they're all closed down for the season. There's no hiking going on after that earthquake. So I think this film kind of will hearken to that maybe a little bit. Maybe like an afterwards in the credits of like safety precautions people should take when doing stuff like that. Obviously rescue help. If you saw San Andreas, at the end of that film, there was a little notice about, being prepared for natural disasters and safety numbers to call for help if you get stranded or have issues in situations like that. So, but overall, just the cast of the film, just seeing the cast that it has, it draws me in. I want to see it. It looks cool. It looks fun. It looks like if you remember, did you ever see Vertical Limit?
Yeah.
With Chris O'Donnell? Remember how kind of over the top that movie was?
Yeah.
This is the real thing. And I think it has a lot more credibility going to it.
Yeah.
Based on what it's coming from. I do want to see it.
It looks, it does look a bit more authentic.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sometimes with those movies, historical dramas, that can be a hit and miss for me. Not as the one we just talked about with the British Spies, but this one, it does have that, it could really pique my interest or it could really not. And I've actually encountered some of these survival dramas or whatever you want to call them, where they look interesting at first, but yeah. I don't know. This one I'd probably wait just a little bit just to see what the word is.
The bird is the word.
Hopefully, what should we call it? I know we talked about a while back about the Movie Pass. AMC has not been nice on that promise, so...
Yeah, what happened? That's supposed to come out back March, wasn't it?
Well, they're making a lot more money right now, so there's no point to release it. It was one of those things, to me, AMC said it to get people's hopes up, and then they're just oh, we're making okay money, we're still getting our audience.
Still strumming along.
Now, yeah, but that's a whole different thing. So, Everest, it looks like it'll be potentially a good movie. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just probably not going to be for me.
And the last one we watched, which was on these last three, possibly even all these trailers that we watched today, they're all feel like Oscar bait. They all want to go forward. They want to be in the ceremony next season in February. And the last one has that kind of written all over it. It's The Walk, directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. If you ever saw or heard about the documentary Man on the Wire, about the Frenchman who strung a tightrope wire between the two towers back in the 70s, this is a dramatization of that same story. So you can do one of two things. You can go see this movie, or you can save yourself money and watch Man on the Wire. Middle
Earth to Mordor. How long did that
take? A year, and it was a horrible way to do it. So this is a true story about a man who illegally got up to the top of the two towers, strung a wire between the two buildings, and actually did a tightrope walk across them. It was a big hubbub back in the 70s, and my dad even told me about it, and it was very fascinating. I watched the documentary. It was very neat. And so this is a film that I think is really is for two things. One is going to be, I think, an Oscar contender for Joseph Gordon-Levitt as far as being a true leading man. Mm-hmm. He's going to be carrying this film on his shoulders in many ways, I think, from his accent to his portrayal. He's portraying a real person, so that right there is always a good study of characterization for an actor, to be able to portray someone that people can be familiar with. Daniel Day-Lewis and Lincoln, come on, that was beautiful. We've never seen Lincoln in physical action.
The whole thing about portraying who's a real character and who's a fake character, the whole thing with Jeremy Renner and Black Widow, that sort of thing. No, it's my Black Widow is real. You can't call her a sniper.
Yeah, some people get a little too uptight about stuff.
I was read the comics. Maybe you can learn something about Mystique.
So, The Walk, again, you see a lot of panning, a lot of moving up, a lot of stuff coming towards the camera. This is another film that has been pushed as an IMAX 3D experience type film, and it very much feels that way. Even watching just the trailer in regular 2D, I'm like, this feels like it's going to be pushing for 3D with the way the depth of the lenses and everything like that. It's I'm not the biggest cheerleader for 3D films. I think if a film is designed for it, it can work, like Avatar, like Tron. But if it's pandering to it, I really don't care.
Well, the other thing too to me is that with the 3D and all that height, I'm pretty sure they're going to try to do a couple kind of vertigo shots.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, just to get you dizzy, and I can't do that.
Yeah. It's like, what's at the bottom of the tower? It's like, yeah, let's take a look. So
I think this will be one of the few movies to actually portray the Twin Towers in a while on film.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering who's gonna come out and say something about that.
Well, I mean,
not that it's negative. It's just for some people they get sensitive.
They get sensitive, and that's understandable. But I mean, at the same time, what a great homage to New York and to the Two Towers themselves for such an event to have happen on it.
It's a historical piece too.
Yeah.
There's another thing that, to me, it's like when we do a historical piece, it's fine. If we try to do a movie for entertainment, it's not.
Yeah.
By some people's standards. And my thing is, it's a movie. It's not a real life
depiction.
Yeah, it's not a real life scenario. If you want to live your life based upon a movie's aspect or something, good luck. But I was going to say good luck because the next movie we were actually talking about was Sinister 2.
Yeah.
That was a real life scenario.
Sinister 2 finally dropped finally. They released a new trailer for Sinister 2. Sinister is a series that Tommy got me into. He got me to watch it. I'm not the biggest horror film fan. I'm very picky when it comes to that. I saw Insidious 3 over the weekend, and this trailer was attached to it, so I had to share it with Tommy, obviously. And what were your thoughts on it, actually?
It's kind of got that feeling like it's going to be a bit prequel, sequel sort of thing. Trying to fill in where the Ogul character came from, and the reason I say it's got to be somewhat sequel too is because there's in the trailer there's actually a news clipping where it talks about the author of Kentucky Blood being dead, and if you've watched the first one, that's Ethan Hawke's character, and spoiler alert, he died in the first one. Well, it's not really a spoiler. If
that's a spoiler. If someone didn't watch
the news clipping freaking says it, alright? Well, anyways.
Well, if you don't know who the character... No, never mind.
He's the author of Kentucky Blood.
I'm the author of Kentucky Blood.
Oh, shit.
Kentucky Fried Blood. Yeah, I'm tired.
Anyways. So, to me, I really did enjoy the suspense, the horror aspect of Sinister. Sinister 2 seems like it's going to be bumped up a bit. The effects that they were renowned for in the first movie, I think the second movie is going to push those a little bit further.
Yeah,
so like people see that
a slightly bigger budget probably than the first film.
Oh yeah, I mean, The Purge started with $3 million, then went up to $9 million, and it made like what 4 times its budget.
I think so. Yeah.
Something like that. But I mean, even Sinister, I think, was possibly it's like the same budget, right? It was like $3 million, right?
Sinister probably somewhere around 10 between
10 million,
between 1 to 10 million. Yeah, between Ethan Hawke is a little bit more of a. He's still a known name.
He's a known name, not
he's
not
your lead. You have him as your lead in that. So, and even in the Purge,
and they did have Vincent
D'Onofrio, yeah.
D'Onofrio, yeah.
But you only had him for a little bit in that film.
You had him for a little bit. But the question is, will he come... If this movie's going to be a sequel, will he be in the sequel? I haven't checked the full cast list yet. It'd be kind of interesting because he's one of the guys that's like, he shared his final moments with
the Ethan Hawke's
character, yeah. So it'd be one of those things where he brings that bit of knowledge to the table, kind of like say, hey, this is what we're dealing with. That sort of thing. And there is, in the trailer itself, there's a couple homages to the first film. As far as like the scene where Ethan Hawke, he looks away from the photograph of Ogul, and Ogul actually like looks at him, and then turns his head back. There's that sort of stuff. There's some. There was an effect that I did in the trailer. To me, it looked trippy, which is where the guy was in the hallway with his flashlight shining the wall in front of him. But when he moved the flashlight, you'd see the silhouettes of people in the shadow.
That's creepy.
And then as he moved the light back, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
And when he moved the light away again,
Yeah.
O'Ghoul stands right in front of him. So it's one of those things that I think, as far as the scares and the deliveries, are going to be a bit more prominent in this one as opposed to the first one. Like the first one for me, as I mentioned, horror and all that stuff. I'm a big one on suspense,
building
sound, building the anticipation. Like if a movie has good suspense, good sound, good ambiance, good feeling, I'm still one of those guys that I'm going to look away just for a second.
Creeped out here.
Because
that's what I loved about Insidious. That's what I loved about The Conjuring. They built such good atmosphere with their films and their writing.
Well, what it does, it's not like I'm faint at heart or anything like that, but it's what it is that music actually has a way. When you build anticipation, sometimes you have like a calm, you have a settle sort of thing, and then when something happens, you panic.
Jaws is a great example of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Jaws, because a lot of Jaws, when people think of Jaws, you think of two things. You think of the shark, and you think of the music, John Williams' score, which everyone kind of knows that dun 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 type thing.
But yeah, you always know when he's coming.
But if you watch Jaws without any sound on, which God forbid we ever do that, it's boring as hell. But when you watch it with the music, with that anticipation, with that building, with the way it sets the scenes and the moods and everything, it could be a day or night shots. It keeps you in the film, and as you kind of hear that thrilling, that kind of
the
tension theme, you feel yourself getting tense and you're getting into the film.
But you already anticipate them. Now, my thing is,
you anticipate it, but you never gets paid off until the end.
Right, with suspense, like movies like such as Sinister, I'm talking about this guy doesn't have a theme. It's just music, to put the setting, and it's kind of like. I mean, you could say like this: when you listen to fast-paced music, what do you do? What is your natural reaction when you listen to
natural reaction?
When you listen to like slow-paced music, or like slow sounds, like calm, whatever, like that, right? You calm, go to sleep. People go to bed to like nighttime sounds or stuff like that, which is not something I've tried or explored, but that's my
initial reaction.
That's my relation to that. Is like those sounds calm me down. So in a suspense movie, same effect, and great sound. So Sinister.
You brought up Vincent D'Onofrio in Sinister, who is also, if you don't watch Netflix, he's also on Daredevil.
Yes.
And yesterday, Marvel Studio, or not Marvel Studios, but Marvel Entertainment announced that they are bringing the Punisher character to the Netflix series Daredevil. Punisher obviously is the alias of Frank Castle in the Marvel comic books, which has been brought to screen several times with the Punisher with Dolph Lundgren and Lee Gossett Jr., with the Punisher with Thomas Jane and John Travolta, and Punisher Warzone with Ray Stevenson and Dominic West. In I think 2008. There's 3. There's the Punisher with.
Oh, it was straight to DVD.
No, it was a theatrical release.
There was a third Punisher in the theater?
Punisher Warzone, with Ray Stevenson.
No, that was
Warzone. Yeah.
No, but you just named off four actors.
No, I gave you the hero and the villain of each film.
Oh,
no.
Gotcha. Shut up.
No. So he will be debuting. Marvel does have the rights to the character back. That's the first thing you learn from this, if you didn't know that already, which we've talked about on the show.
Somebody else had rights to Punisher?
Yeah. Punisher was owned by Fox. How do you think you got the Thomas Jane film and the Dolph Lundgren film and Punisher Warzone? Those were all under some of the studio, aside from Marvel. Yeah. Then Marvel got him back. Around the same time they got Daredevil. Yeah. I think a little... And same time they got Blade. When they got Blade, Punisher, and Daredevil back.
I kind of feel like, as we talk about these... Because, Punisher is going to be introduced on Daredevil.
Next season.
But Punisher, I'm highly anticipating that he's going to have his own series, of course.
That depends on how the audience takes it.
A lot of people are craving the Punisher right now. A lot of people want him back.
True, but, I mean... Okay, so, first let's get to the main part of this. When Marvel made the announcement, they announced Jon Berenthal of The Walking Dead will be playing the titular role of the Punisher, Frank Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Jon Berenthal, if you know his resume, Wolf of Wall Street, obviously The Walking Dead. He was on How I Met Your Mother, Mob City. He's a face you recognize. Fury was the most recent thing I remember seeing him in.
Right.
So he's a very good actor. He's not my first choice. When they talk about the Punisher and bringing him back, a lot of people, and I keep seeing it even now still, people keep jumping to Frank Grillo. Frank Grillo is already established in the Marvel Universe as Crossbones, as Brock Rumlow in Captain America Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War. A lot of people are saying him, mostly based on the Purge Anarchy and his portrayal in there.
Yes.
You actually brought that to me when we first talked about that film.
Yeah.
You said he's very much like the Punisher.
Yeah.
Which is true. And so a lot of people are looking at him as like, oh, he should play the Punisher if Marvel gets the Punisher back. Well, Marvel got the Punisher back. And they unfortunately already had Frank Grillo cast as another main villain, so that's fine. But again, Jon Berenthal would not be my first choice. My first choice was Carl Urban from Dredd. Yeah, that's one reason that I would be sold on him playing the role, is his portrayal in Dredd as a titular role, as well as if you watch Star Trek, he's Dr. Bones McCoy in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek series. Right now, and he's awesome. He is one of my favorite actors out there right now. Anything he does, even crappy films like Pathfinder, he's still fun to watch. So he would have been my main choice. But in the end, clearly Marvel knows what they're doing. The Punisher, I think, is like the highest rated show from Netflix original series.
You mean Daredevil?
Yeah. Shut up. Daredevil is, I believe, the highest rated show on Netflix as far as their own material that they've made as far as Netflix original series.
To me, as performance-wise, it's still way up there.
I actually just watching it again today. Before Tommy came over, I was
through the
watching
whole series twice.
It's so fun. It's so good.
And the other thing too, speaking of going through the series twice, I did pick up on a couple things in the in the third episode. They did kind of make of a slam about. There's a scene where a nurse is talking to, is it Ben?
Ben Urich?
Yeah, Ben Urich. And she's pissed off because she's got to deal with a bunch of sick kids because parents won't vaccinate their kids, and apparently the outbreak has to deal with measles. Or smallpox. Is it, which one was it?
I think it was smallpox.
It was smallpox in Disneyland?
I think so.
Because it was a Disneyland reference.
Oh, it was measles.
It was measles? Yeah. So she was actually raising a fuss. She's like, I got to deal with all these kids because their parents won't get their kids vaccinated. And so, also in the fourth episode, there's a reference to a man in a iron suit and a magic hammer.
Yeah.
A scene where Wesley is talking to
Claire. He's talking to Claire, the nurse.
No. Wesley's talking to the Russian brothers
in
the taxi garage,
right.
and he was questioning on why they couldn't
take out a guy in a
take
mask.
out one of their guys in a mask. It's
It's
that's
like he
what
has
Wesley
a suit or a magic hammer.
exactly. Wesley criticizes him and asks about
and that's a nice little nod to remind you that this is still part of the overall Marvel films as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like as different as Punisher feels. I actually was just listening to a Kevin Smith podcast beforehand they're talking about Daredevil and kind of making the same points we are, reminding that this is still part overall of the films, even though it feels completely different, and it does. And that's one thing I love about it.
Well, the thing is, Marvel could be starting a different universe. Now, Punisher, Daredevil, Ghost Rider, who else is in that line? They're part of Marvel Knights. They're not.
I'm really hoping that if they keep these characters like mainly on the TV shows on Netflix, that they should just change the banner to Marvel Knights.
They should just change. That's what I would like, is that they change the banner to Marvel Knights.
Yeah,
and
because they're darker, they're that street level, a little tougher, a little grittier.
You get Blade in there. You
get Blade and Ghost Rider and do a horror film.
Well, someone was talking about. I was speaking with a friend of mine over the weekend. He was talking about Ghost Rider. If he said something about eventually Mephisto will show up.
Mephisto, yeah.
Because he's involved with Ghost Rider.
He's involved with Ghost Rider, yes.
Yeah. Now, I only know that name because of Diablo 2. But I'm not sure why, if he pulled the reference of Mephisto to the movies or...
It was to the books.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, and majority of the characters that you see in the Marvel films and the Marvel TV shows now will be direct characters from the book. Even though they may not be portrayed exactly as they are in the funny pages, there's still a reference or homage to them, be it in name, in portrayal, in little background stuff about them, even something as simple as their clothing style and how the color or pattern might match an outfit they wore in the comic books.
Yeah.
I mean, they do little stuff like that, which I think is beautifully done. Name dropping even as well. Like in episode 8, they referenced Matt Murdock taking a Spanish class with a Greek girl. That Greek girl is Elektra.
Yeah.
That's Elektra Nachos.
Is that how it happened in the book, too?
Not that I believe, no. They can take liberties with their own properties. It's their own property. They can do.
No, I know they can twist it. They can turn it because it's another thing too. They just came out with a whole. Didn't they come out with a brand new Marvel universe or new Marvel look or something like that? The comics, yeah.
Yeah, they're finishing up Secret War. Secret War is basically destroying the current Marvel timeline and kind of revamping it. They're actually ending the Ultimates line, which if you read Marvel Ultimates came out back in the early 2000s with Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men. And then they had the Ultimates, which was another name for the Avengers, which is a modern, updated version of the Avengers origin.
Gotcha.
And it's been a very... That by itself, the Ultimates books, were a heavy reference on the Marvel film universe, because they take a lot of their characterization from that. From the way the twins of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are portrayed, to Tony Stark being a narcissistic alcoholic, to Hank Pym's background of kind of being a little bit of a... domestic violence issues, which I don't think will be directly referenced in Ant-Man, but it is part of his character's history. One of the reasons they decided to go with Scott Lang instead of Hank Pym. But the casting in Berenthal, overall, you have to trust Marvel. They know what they're doing. Their casting has been pretty spot on. I know they've had a few hiccups here and there with Hulk and with War Machine, but for the most part, it's been pretty solid. Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Charlie Cox now as Daredevil, Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, perfectly done.
Yeah, he did. When I found out he was in Sinister, and then I found out he was in Men in Black, I found out that he was in... Now he's in Daredevil.
Did you ever see Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah, that's right. Full Metal Jacket.
Sergeant
He's
Pyle.
not... Yeah. Oh, wait, no.
He's the Pyle. Private Pyle.
The one that went...
The one that goes crazy and kills himself. Yeah, that's
really?
him. Yes, that's him.
Damn!
I'm sorry, if you're younger, you've never seen Full Metal Jacket, watch it. It's fucking awesome.
Okay.
Stanley Kubrick's Vietnam
Basically,
style.
if you ever heard of, what's his name?
Gunnery
Sergeant Arlie Hermy.
Yeah. He was
the line, "What is your major malfunction?"
Yeah.
That scene is the one we're talking about, and it's...
Yes.
Yeah,
what is your major malfunction?
Full Metal Jacket. Yes. Full Metal Jacket, it is a bit of a stretch, but it's a good movie.
It's a heavy film.
Yeah, it's a heavy movie.
And I know that... Here's a little bit of trivia for you. Arlie Hermy was originally on that film as a consultant.
Yes.
He was a drill sergeant. And, they use him, how would they say? And he'd show them how they do it. I'm like, well, why don't we just cast you in the film? Why don't we have you play the sergeant? And so he did. They had him play the drill sergeant. And, oh my god, it defined his career, basically. And everything he's done has always kind of been a slight reference to it.
Also, he wasn't a gunnery sergeant when he did Full Metal Jacket.
No.
He actually got a promotion in the military ranks while he was doing that movie.
Yeah. Well, no, he was portraying a drill sergeant.
But he was portraying a drill sergeant, but he still got...
He got
promoted to gunnery sergeant. He wasn't in... Well, I don't know.
I think he was already retired.
He was retired. He wasn't even in the service.
No, he was done with service by then.
So...
Yeah, he's a real war veteran and a real... If you ever see The Frighteners? Peter Jackson's film from '96, Michael J. Fox.
Oh, yeah.
He's in there playing a character of his
that's right.
In Full Metal Jacket.
I was thinking Saving Silverman, but...
That movie's awesome. I love that film. I don't care what anyone says. I love that movie. Steve's on Jack Black. That's so good.
So, also at the last thing... Is it the last thing we got? Jurassic World?
Was Jurassic World. Yes, this weekend is the 22nd anniversary of the release of Jurassic Park, and Universal Studios, with director Colin Trevorrow, is releasing Jurassic World, starring Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. This is a movie I've been looking forward to since I heard it announced. It is my #1 movie of the year. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm anticipating it. I'll probably see it about 5 or 6 times in theaters. If you've listened to our show before, which I hope you have, you will know that my very much grounded foundation for doing this show is because of Jurassic Park. I fell in love with films watching Jurassic Park as a little kid in the theaters, and my love for film grew from that. And even right now, as with every podcast, we try to watch a movie, and tonight we were watching The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Shouldn't it be the other way around?
Shut up, Screen Junkies! These are honest trailers. Those are hilarious, by the way. We were watching Lost World, Jurassic Park.
No, even when this came out, I'm like,
yeah.
So this is Jurassic Park.
Did you ever read the book? Because that's the way it was titled in the book. It's The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
No.
Lawyered. Michael Crichton wins.
Anyway.
Wow. So yeah, we were watching Lost World tonight. Came out in '97.
I think it's gonna...
It'll be hitting 20... It's 18 years old now, this film. And just like the other film, for the most part, Lost World holds up in effects-wise. For the most part. There are a few that feel dated, but overall, It holds up.
Not trying to downplay
Jerk.
Jurassic World at all.
But
in comparison to box office numbers opening weekend of...
I think it will go upwards of 100 million this weekend.
Avengers.
I think it will have...
I'm going to guess somewhere between 160 to 200... 200 No?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think... Well, what? Avengers Age of Ultron hit, 188 opening weekend? I think
that was domestic.
That was domestic. Okay, well, I'm still talking about domestic numbers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think domestically, Jurassic World will probably hit around 125 to 150, I think, which is a good, solid number. That's a hit. That's a hit. I think it will be number one for the weekend. If you notice, if you looked at what's releasing this week,
I think it will be number one.
Nothing else is releasing
there's
this
no
weekend. There's
contenders.
nothing else really coming out this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few limited release films, but nothing else is going to try to go toe-to-toe with the nostalgic feel of Jurassic Park.
What's the next thing after Jurassic World?
July 1st is...
Damn, July 1st.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
Damn.
We're just talking about it, too.
Yeah, I know. Anyways.
I can't remember what it's called. I'm sorry. So, yeah, I think Jurassic World will hit upwards of 125 to 150 million this weekend. For opening weekend. I know there's a few, advanced screenings tonight. Obviously, Thursday night, they do their late show, 7 o'clock midnight shows. And then, obviously, Friday will be opening day. Mm-hmm. I'm going to probably try to go Friday after work and go see it. If I see it by myself, even, I'll see it by myself. I love this film franchise, and I'm excited to see where they go with it. I would really like another trilogy out of them. So.
And then they're going to do a crossbreed, Jaws versus a T-Rex.
That'd be awesome. Are you kidding? They feed Jaws to the dinosaurs in Jurassic World. So yeah. Jurassic World, yeah, that's my number one.
Jurassic World, it definitely will be probably the predominant thing to watch for the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Let me see. As far as other films coming out, I'm just
After this, I think really the next big film coming out after Jurassic World is Ant-Man, coming out in July.
Probably
on the 17th. So that'll be we will be doing a spoilers show for Jurassic World after we all see it. So I'm hoping to do that next week here on the podcast.
Okay.
Should be fun.
Yeah, let's see.
I think are we all out of topics? Yes, we are.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us once again. Join with Time Metropolis without his golden deliciousness, you bastard.
It means I'm better.
Wow, that's horrible. Go see a movie. Please, go see a movie. Go watch a movie. Go watch a movie you haven't seen in a long time or one that you've never seen at all. And let us know. We'd love to hear from you in our comments sections. If you like this video, please click the like button. Please subscribe to our page so we can keep doing what we're doing. We love doing this show for you, and we hope you have fun listening to it as well. And come back next week for our Jurassic World spoilers review of the film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your host, Vince Munn. This has been another CineMunn podcast. We will see you next time.
Have a good one.